Hello everyone, this is Heroes Trivia, and today we're starting a brand new Let's Play for Total War 3 Kingdoms as we're playing Tao Qian in the 190 start. Now this will be a heavily modded Let's Play, mainly featuring the TROM mod, or the Rule of Might, which we have done before in our short-lived Yuan Shao Let's Play. We didn't get to finish that, so hopefully we'll have a smooth run here and complete this mod with Tao Qian's faction. Now from the base game, without any mods, Tao Qian is a free LC character that you can download as long as you own the base game, and he has a pretty flushed out faction for free LC characters. You have a faction unique mechanic that deals with displaced populace, where you accumulate this resource of displaced population as war rages on throughout the map, and you have the option of using a unique assignment to move those characters into your settlements to increase the populations there for economic benefits, as well as replenishment boosts and a little bit of extra building slots once you hit milestones. But if you keep the displaced population in your resource bar, you get different bonuses and different debuffs depending on what tier you're on. I believe there are 5 different tiers in total, and we'll take a look at the bonuses you get for each once we hop into game, as it is a bit all over the place. As a faction, we are a governor faction, so we cannot create our own emperor seats. Once we do hit the king rank, there will be 3 factions that are spawned with the emperor seats, and we have to take our own from those factions to become an emperor. Now, it's unlikely that Tao Qian will see that day, because he's 58 at the beginning of the game, and you start dying at 60. There's a chance of death every turn, starting at age 60 for most characters. Some have long age, and they end up with 70 as their starting date. Regardless, we're likely to die before we become Emperor, which is a bit sad because his background bonus, the Benevolent Arbiter, does give us some really nice bonuses: 2 additional administrator positions, 2 additional assignments, 5% replenishment for garrison. Now, some of these background bonuses, as well as skill tree, are going to be changed by the mod, but for the most part, the 2 administrator and 2 assignments are from the base game, and those are really strong, especially in the beginning, as we can use those administrators to build up our settlements without spending too much on construction, as a high expertise character really saves a lot of money there. Now, the mod will change a bunch, like I mentioned. In the base game, we get very poor units as our faction unique unit. Here in the mod, we're going to get these special Danyang units. And since the Rule of Might, or TROM, focus heavily on units in terms of combat, and the generals are nerfed back, where the abilities are no longer able to solo whole armies, it's going to be a very nice change of pace for us, especially for those who enjoy the traditional Total War gameplay, the historical ones. And we'll try to play up to that with our unique units. The Danyang units are very nice, historically known for being very capable spearmen, mainly because it's in an area where there were a lot of bandits, and basically every household grew up fighting bandits. So when the Han went to recruit units, the Danyang region was known to produce really good recruits because they had all grown up fighting bandits, so they were experienced, much like how, say, during the Civil War, when you are conscripting from the southern states, you have people who grew up horseback riding and hunting, so they were better at, shooting, versus someone from the north. Similar idea to that. Or if you are recruiting from out west, they grew up riding horses, so they can be cavalry units quite easily. We started out in the Shu province. We became the governor of the Shu province around 188, historically speaking, because there was a uprising of yellow turbans in this area, and we were sent here to take care of that as its prefect before becoming its governor. Previously, before that point, Tao Qian had been a career politician slash soldier. He fought against the Xiliang rebels out west, first under Huang Fusong and then under Zhang Wen, who he did not get along with. He openly attacked Zhang Wen at court, blaming him for some of the bad decision making and the corruption he was seeing, and that almost kind of ended his career. But fortunately, he was able to give a chance to become the governor of the Shu province, and under the guidance of some very wise scholars in the region, including the likes of Wang Lang, he was paying tribute to the court during a time when the court was really corrupt, and that kind of cemented him as a position here from prefect to governor, and from there he was able to build out himself as a pretty strong regional power. His war with Cao Cao did not go his way, and that sort of ended his life, not prematurely. He was into his 60s by that time, around 194, which would be a early game event we have to deal with, as Cao Cao will blame the death of his father on us, and we have to fight him off. But that is also a blessing, because we might get the chance to wipe out Cao Cao before he gets really strong. We don't have to deal with his schemes in the future. That might be a good part of this early fight with him and being his neighbor. To the north in the game, we start out with Yellow Turbans in the north. Liu Bei is one friend we can make. Historically, obviously, we take him in, and once we die, we pass the Sui province to him. The main reason why I didn't go to his sons is, first, governorships are not hereditary, so it doesn't mean just because you have sons you should go to them. And second, both of Tao Qian's sons didn't participate in politics. They were never recommended for imperial court, so they never really got into this life, and they were never really considered. What they were doing, we don't know. Maybe they were just enjoying life as common citizens, merchants, or just wealthy, second generation from the previous governor. Could be all of the above. And we have quite a few characters in our court, which we'll talk about. One you might have noticed is the artwork here, which is Sima Ying's artwork being reused with the mods to be given to Chen Deng, who is quite a capable youngster. He's going to eventually become the administrator of Guangling, and is going to hold the commandery against Sun Ce's attack years later. He also is involved in taking down Lu Bu, working with Cao Cao from the inside as a advisor to Lu Bu, but he and his dad, Chen Gui, basically worked from the inside to guide Lu Bu down a path where he eventually got killed. But regardless, it should be an interesting start here. We will deal with the courts. We'll take a look at all the abilities we're given with the mods and see how we will proceed. We'll be playing, as always, on Legendary 40-minute battle timers. Nothing's changed there. I think we're doing the large unit size, which will shift depending on the unit size that TROM wants to give. It's going to be kind of all over the place with the mod, but we'll take a look once we do go in. So let's hop in here.
主公，董卓将洛阳付之一炬，挟持天子逃往了长安，朝廷各大官员也随驾西去了。
此等暴虐之行，是可忍孰不可忍？若是再无动于衷，我等都要为其所治。
您一直为守护治下太平而殚精竭虑，然而天下却愈来愈乱。 黄巾贼依旧猖獗，
黄巾贼仍然不肯罢休。如今看来，乱世已是不可避免了。
然而，您仍然有可以为援的盟友。刘备如今率军北进。
刘备是仁德之士，然一无官职，二无封地。或许袁术和公孙瓒是更好的盟友。
此二人的确是不错的选择。 不管是汉室再兴，还是神器更易，乱世终会重归一统。我等将听候您的差遣。
Alrighty, so as we start the game, we have a few challenges to secure the Shu province first. We have to pick up Peng Cheng's temple. This is quite easy. We get 2,000, which is probably the most useful part of this. Path of Glory, a little bit of population, a little bit of public order. A little bit of peasantry for a few turns, not bad. And establish our power. Lord Tao Qian, Dong Zhuo has seized the emperor, and now wields imperial power to his own tyrannical ends. The Han dynasty must be saved, even if you must take their land back by force. First, we must defeat the nearby Yellow Turban insurgents, then find a place to build our strength. Nearby, Liu Bei and Kong are Han loyalists who may offer us aid. Time to act, my lord, is now. So, historically speaking, Tao Qian is actually one of the few regional lords who did not rise up against Dong Zhuo. He instead paid some tributes. He didn't take part in the coalition against him. Not that he was disloyal, but he respected the court and wanted to work things out. Dong Zhuo is a regent. We'll see where that goes. Obviously, with Dong Zhuo's defeat and death, we don't know where that goes, and he's casted as a tyrant forever. But no one really blamed Tao Qian for that. He basically picked sides, eventually allying with Yuan Shu. Not a good decision there. And we have our first mission, which is just to defeat the Yellow Turban army in front of us, and we get Taste of Victory. Very standard beginning, 30 points of military supplies and 5 points of morale. And if we look at our army here, you might notice right away, we have Danyang archers, Danyang veterans. These are unique units. And if we clicked on them, you might also notice TROM changes the unit card a little bit, not in terms of artwork, but in terms of stat displayed. We now have a melee hit bonus, which is what's used to deduct from the melee evasion, how much of the evasion we can get rid of. You can think of it as a pseudo melee attack bonus that you get from other Total War games. And then we still have the unit evasion. We have our attack rate, block chance that combines, I think, the shield and as well as non-shielded block chance that you have, much like how evasion has the shield value listed out here. The attack damage, pretty high. This is a tier 3 unit, as you might have noticed by the numbers. Now, this is hard to tell for those who don't know Chinese, but essentially, if we hop open a general tab, you can see this is 1 line, 2, 3, and the higher the number, the better the unit, in a sense. They're a higher tier unit. And then we have the number 2. These are Danyang archers. All Danyang units have this unique ability against all odds, which has a passive self buff when they're losing, which is a very nice implementation. I kind of like these type of abilities that pop up when you have sort of a turning the tide moment. When you're losing in melee, you get this bonus. And speaking of melee, these archers are decent in melee. 49 base damage, 8 armor piercing. And the numbers all look slightly inflated because it's changed a bit for the mod, not comparing them to the base game values, but relative to the units that we have here in the mod. It'll take some time to get used to. Aside from that, you have formations attached to each unit, and you have additional ability here for the Danyang veterans, which gives do or die. One use only, 60 seconds, where you strip off 50% of your armor, but you get 15% extra attack and charge bonus. I think this is going to be quite good for flanking maneuvers, even though Danyang units are a bit slow. They're heavily armored, and one of their weaknesses is they can be outmaneuvered because they only have 31 speed versus like 35 here. For the slightly lighter units, Bandit Spear Gain here has 40, and they have Bandit Deeply Rooted, self buff, increase 5% evasion, increase 50% charge resistance. There's a bunch of abilities. We got to get used to those. And the general abilities are nerfed and changed. We have Restore. Somehow for TROM, there is quite a bit of healing abilities, which is nice, but as you can see here, it's enabled as long as there's no enemy in range, as long as we're not routing, as long as we're not in a fight or a duel, and we're not on elephant, and we can give nearby units friendly, 50 meters, infinite heal and fatigue resistance. Obviously, we cannot revive models, so if a certain entity has already died, it's not coming back alive, but for those who's been injured, we can heal them, so quite useful. The other Wisdom River, or here Wisdom of the Waterfall, it's more of a charge resistance bonus. And then we have Exemplar, which can boost generals for a passive buff of melee attack rate and morale. So things like this. It's going to be very different from the base game. And then we also have this at the bottom, which gives general bonuses. Some of these can be very powerful characteristics, as they call it here. First one here, we have cheaper upkeep for Danyang unit on Tao Qian only. Makes sense. He also has access to earth units or yellow units from his recruitment, which we cannot see until turn 2. So we're going to hold off on that. Melee infantry, so Danyang veterans in this case, would have better evasion under him. And he can eventually get plus 5 points of public order, which we might want, given that we are the faction leader, at least until we die. We mentioned his background bonus. It's very strong. In addition to that, there's 50% extra income from family estate. It's going to help with his massive roster of units, or not units, generals at the beginning. That's going to be eating up our sort of treasury here. We're paying 1.2k in salary of characters, which is quite a lot. There's also restrictions on siege weapons for the TROM mod. We can't get them until we reach the Marquis rank, I believe. So right now we have no access to any siege weapons, and we have to just use our units for most of this. Zanbat is the general we have. He's a local, and he was used by Tao Qian to fight against the Yellow Turbans, which is how he got his start. More famously known for sort of becoming a bandit regional power after Tao Qian's death, and eventually working for Cao Cao. His bonuses are the same. Still crafty operator with the Captain Retinue bonus, which is irrelevant for us. Looking at his characteristics, he specializes in spear units. Makes sense for the fact that he's a champion. More damage for spear units and a little bit of missile resistance for spear unit. ability, Hamstring and Binding Fury are still here. They are going to be general only, so you can only target other generals with this, and you can't use this to clear units. This is one of the main thing with TROM, less emphasis on general combat, more emphasis on unit combat. You also don't have Mending, even though he is a bandit, but we also have Scattering Blows, so he does have a decent splash increase for 30 seconds where he can use this to clear out some units if needed. His traits are not great, but I think we can eventually reroll Disloyal into something useful. His background bonus of 15% extra post-battle loot when he's commanding is something we might be utilizing by putting him first. Satisfaction currently look okay. We have extra from recently hired. We'll have to kind of gauge that because we do have a big court and it might be kind of difficult to keep people happy early on. Sun Qian eventually will become a secretary for Liu Bei. But in the game here, we still have the same bonus he had from the base game, 6k population growth. There's nothing too crazy for him. He seems to have a pretty standard strategist characteristic for the mod. Wisdom of the River is still here. It's been nerfed. It's not 100%. Here it's less about nerfing enemy defenses because it used to strip armor and melee evasion. Here we're just stripping damage. And then we have Oil Pot, so he does have a missile attack, and essentially we have a little fire explosion damage. Think of this as sort of Huang Gai's ability from the base game. And then we also have fire control for a little bit of boost of range unit damage. So there are small changes, and also the regular skills are changed. So Reach no longer gives extra movement. Instead, it's been placed on... do we have a character that have... There we go. So Mobility now have the extra army movement, 15% instead of 25% from Reach. Reach is now only own retinue speed boost. So there's small changes to everything, and you sort of have to get used to it when using this mod. The changes are all over the place. Mi Zhu, I think he's also pretty standard range. He has slightly better bonus than Sun Qian here. I think +2 starting rank versus +1. And then he also has access to some buqu units. Buqu, I think it's just another term for retinue in Chinese. And it's tier 2, I think, in terms of how they categorize the units. I think it's like militia, buqu, and then elite or something like that. We'll find out as we play the mod a bit more. And then Mi Zhu's sister, Lady Mi, who no longer have the extra satisfaction bonus, which is one reason why we might not make her our heir. There's a pretty easy way of just marrying our son to her and then having her become our heir. She has a unique assignment here, court management. I actually wonder what it is. +10 satisfaction. Okay, so, and +10% income. So you can give us that 10 points of satisfaction without becoming our heir, which might play into sort of the roleplay aspect a bit more. We also have access to this, so quite a few ways to increase satisfaction early on. Aside from that, this is our unique ability or unique assignment where we can repopulate. We can move populations from our resource bar into our settlements, 40k at a time. It's actually quite hefty. Now, this bar here, it will go up just as the world fights. We'll have an increase in displaced population. And there's 5 tiers, as I mentioned before. We're currently in tier 2, moderate. We have the following bonuses and debuffs. It goes from food to satisfaction to public waters to decreased cost for militia to increased peasantry income. It kind of makes sense if you think about it. So essentially, when we don't have a lot of displaced population, the world is stable. Your cities are stable. You have good public water. You have good satisfaction for your generals. You have increased peasantry income because everyone's farming. But as that displaced population goes up, less people are farming, so less peasantry bonus. We have a food crisis. But you have people hanging around that are displaced, that are not farming, so cheaper to get militia and territorial units. Now, territorial units is kind of not really valid anymore because we no longer have that as our unique unit as we would in the base game because of the mod changes. But essentially, we have cheaper unit recruitment for the lower tier units they can get from these displaced population, and that's going to go up once you get to manageable. More food penalties, but increased replenishment because you can recruit from all these displaced population. Increased replenishment for garrison, same reason. Even cheaper recruitment costs for militia units. Less public water. And then once you move up to very high, you have so many people hanging out to be laborers, you have less construction time on top of that, but you do take a hefty food penalty and you get a lot more replenishment. And then finally, when you're overwhelmed, you get 10% replenishment, 30% for garrisons, 50% decrease for militia and territorial cost, and then a lot of food penalty, including that 50% food production from all commandery, which is going to hit pretty hard. And then -2 construction costs and -2 mustering turns. It's actually pretty strong bonuses if we can handle the food part. If we can get a food character, say Liu Zhang or Zhang Lu, who can counteract the 50% production part, 24 food is just another very tall settlement. So having an extra settlement, basically, to gain this amount of 2 turns of construction time, 2 turns of mustering, which is pretty good. And then the extra replenishment. It's actually worth it in the late game, I think, to go for high displaced population. I don't think low is, that optimum. The bonuses you get here versus the bonus you get here, as long as you can handle the food debuffs, it's much better to be at the high end than the low end. So we're not going to do too much to control this. We'll probably let it ride slowly over time. If we start having food issues, then maybe we'll think about it. But I don't think that's going to be the case because we're surrounded in an area with lots of food, right? We start in Donghai, which has a harbor for fishing. We have Xiapi, which has a farmland. Pong has nothing, which basically makes it a food commandery. And then as we go into Cao Cao's territory, Chen has 2 food-producing counties. Huainan has food-producing counties. And then Guangling also has food-producing counties. So we have a lot of food nearby, and I don't have to really worry about the debuffs, although the 50%, as I mentioned, is going to be a problem. We'll have to deal with that when that time comes. Our starting item, not too bad. We got a silver item. Maybe we'll use this in a trade because I don't really need the 5 points of reserve increase. And we have a lot of factions we can trade with because, as I mentioned, Tao Qian wasn't against Dongzhuo historically, so we don't actually start a war with him. We are only at war with the 2 yellow turban factions, so we can trade with literally everyone. And let's see what items they got on turn 1. Is there anything that we could potentially grab? Nothing that catches my eye right now. Now we could divorce our wife or adopt Lady Mi and set up some marriages. Now we're not going to be able to confederate anyone using marriage because we don't have access to the confederation as a diplomatic option, so there's no cheesing that. But essentially, they have a daughter. Now we could set this up if we want, but she has no items, so it's really no point. I just want to see what items people had. No one has anything really good, so I don't think we'll do any item trade. We'll secure a couple of trade routes early. So Liu Bei can trade with the Han Empire. Guess we'll lock him down first. And then Zorong is probably someone we will wipe out early. He doesn't have much money, if I can remember. Decent amount. So cheap. I have 5 food. I'm tempted to trade him 1, but I doubt we can get too much back. So if we do like 1 food here, how much more can I even get? Not that much more. So maybe we save that for another time. Now, can I get 90? No, 89 was the max. Sounds good. These values are a bit low. Okay, so we got that done. We need to assign or consider whether or not we want to assign some assignments and administrators. If we're going to build out our commanderies, then we do need administrators. It does decrease the cost quite a bit. Well, actually, by a little bit now, because they changed it for the mod. For the base game, if you had, let's say, 85 expertise, you're looking at a decent chunk of reduction for construction cost. Here, it's no longer the case. They nerfed that change. So we have -4%. And even at 104, it's only -6%. But we also get corruption reduction based on expertise as well. These are all mod changes. I'm trying to see if there's income is tied to cunning now, which might make a strategist administrator much more attractive. Public order can also be a boost for administrators. The question is it worth additional 100 in salary that we're going to pay for them if we're not going to get huge construction discounts? Which is usually what you want. Now, skill tree bonuses like this 40% is going to mean a lot. So just looking at everyone, Mifeng seems to be a winner here. We do have an inn building here in Donghai that's giving us a decent amount. So I think for him, it makes sense to assign him for that 40% boost and all the default boosts that we get. Additionally, I think he's also the one with a title in our faction. Yeah, they disappear when you do assign them from the side. So we're going to get rid of this. He's going to be pretty mad, but because he has a new position, he's not going to hate us that much. He's also rank 3, which is why we need to give him a position. I'm going to downgrade his armor, actually. He actually gets more stats with a worse armor here. I'm going to tweak him a little bit. I don't think I have anything unlocked in terms of, titles for the administrator position. And we're just going to keep him here in Donghai. Xiapi feels like a farming town. If we're not going to build it up, we don't need to worry about administrator position. The small amount of cost saving, 4% off of, like, say, 2,080 for 5 turns versus the 100 increase every turn. I don't think it's worthwhile. There are the new sub-buildings for counties. This is from the mod as well. We'll worry about those when the time comes. But first things first, I think we want to destroy this. I think we want to use this slot for something else. I think our food is going to be fine. We're not trading it away. Xuan is someone who I want to fire. Now, I think they did change his traits from the base game, which I think is a mistake. I think the mod makers wanted to have you start out with good characters, but historically speaking, Xuan was not a good character, and he shouldn't have fondness towards us. They're trying to fix everything by tweaking the fondness to increase his satisfaction and whatnot. The main issue is he was historically someone who declared himself emperor and then rebelled in the Sui province, and Tao Qian killed him. So we don't need him here. I don't see a reason why we should recruit him. I'm going to actually banish him for a bit of money. Or I think the satisfaction is going to be fine with the 5-point decrease. 25, yeah, the lack of purpose goes away, recently demoted goes away, banishment goes away. He'll be fine, so we don't have to worry about this. He's not even in the red. Everyone else can stay. I think they were all historically part of the faction. Now, Tao Qian as heir is a problem because he doesn't give us any good bonuses. His stats are not very high, and yeah, there's just nothing going for him here. If we decide to go with our other son, still not very good. Okay, at least he has a little bit of construction costs, a little bit of public order. Now we do have our wife, Lady Gan, who's the daughter of administrator of Cangwu, Gan Gong. There's no historical recording of his actual name, but he was a pretty important character. He retired, went back to Danyang, and then he met Tao Qian when Tao Qian was like 14, and Tao Qian was role-playing, pretending he put this cloth and said it was his banner, and he was role-playing as a general, and it kind of impressed Gan Gong, who decided to set up a marriage for him with his daughter. His wife wasn't very happy about it, but that's where Lady Gan comes from. So historically, Lady Gan is Tao Qian's wife. This is a correct character. She, however, will not make a good heir either. Yeah, there's just not much going for her here. She does have oil pot as well. She and Sun Qian both have oil pot for us. Now, we didn't look at Chen Deng, who I mentioned, you know, known for his defense against Sun Ce and using Sima Ying's armor from 8 princes, character experience, plus 5 points of public. That's actually not bad. He has Mock. It's a 2-use, it's damage ability. Interesting. He has Restore, so he can heal as well. Wisdom the River. Seems like he can be a decent administrator. Which makes sense, since he was the administrator of Guangling. We can make that happen again. Guangling is a decent commander. He can become its administrator. Even though Danyang would be even better. Yeah, Danyang would be even better. Anyhow, we cannot recruit first turn. We did our diplomacy moves. I don't think we're going to do anything with that. So we can start the fight, actually, I think. And worry about where everyone's going. We'll just speed that up. And let's fight it. Let's showcase these Danyang units a bit. We'll be going up against a pretty easy fight here. I didn't switch Stanba, so 15% less post-battle loot, unfortunately, but more experience for Tao Qian. And we could use him a level up because he could get the next characteristic, and perhaps we can get some bonuses from that. But yes, a small oversight. Zanba would have given us a little bit more money here. Right, so his ability is still target general only, as we can't really use him that much against units. It's just sort of a unit versus unit fight. We have access to rapid fire, flaming shot, okay. Suppression, basically, that's what this is. More base damage, a lot less armor piercing. Our base armor piercing right now is 9? No, that's our attack rate. Where's our damage? 8, okay. Drop down to 3. Yeah, that is a hefty cut. 3 points in morale for the flaming shot. He's not moving up, that's fine. I don't think we're going to keep these bandit spear gain. Melee evasion, self buff, charge resistance. We're going to move it up. We can duel. I don't know if we'll win that though. That is definitely something we have to worry about. Well, we do have a damage ability that we can use against him. He also has one he can use against us, and his looks a little bit more damage heavy. And we don't have very high evasions. I think that's a fight we don't want. Slow down. I think we'll probably get rid of the bandit spear gang after this. So we'll put them to sacrifice in the front. We'll try to flank with them. Why are we not firing? There we go. Suppression. Go back to standard shot. Why do we have a range op? We have a javelin on us? Oh, did not know that. Now, is our heal disabled because we have enemies near us? Yes. Okay. Since we're flanking, we're going to activate the armor debuff. Can't pull them out anymore. It's okay, they die pretty quickly. Alright, we can activate the heal again. Flank across. So you can use it when you're fighting the general and then get a splash on the units nearby. We'll stay and kill the general. We'll try to sneak some kills here to level up the generals. Nope. Just start pulling back. We can still funnel the kills. Alright, he's routed. We'll let him run off. Yeah, that one splash hit hurt. Dueling him was probably going to be a bad idea. Faster attack rate, more evasion, better ability. Recipe for disaster. They're not going to make it to the edge of the map. And the unit size, 105 for the archers, 91 for the swordsmen here, and 90... I guess they get a captain? They get like a... Why the extra one? Do you guys have visually like a captain for each group? Not that I can see. We're gonna release him for extra income. We'll take the money for now. Taste of victory. Now our next mission is actually to capture Chong. And we get support from the people for extra 1,000. So I think we'll start here for the 2,000 bonus. And I think for these units, we'll just get rid of them. Do we need it to take this? We might. Does he have anything that increases replenishment? Not yet. Yeah, it'll be fine. Buildings. So we're getting rid of this so that we can build probably a tax collector, which is not free actually. I think this has changed as well, so maybe not a tax collector, because I don't think we want that public order debuff this early on. What do we want? State workshop, I think it's pretty default everywhere. I'm going to get rid of this as well. Even though this is a food commandery, I don't think we need the multiplier for it. The base food is fine. And that might be good later on. Alright, so satisfaction boost, income from all type. That one should go to Donghai. There's no industry yet. Construction, yes, there will be construction here. Like I said, I don't think we're going to deal with displaced population. Shifting it down. I guess shifting it down now would be fine. But if we are going to increase population, we're probably going to increase it here. Who wants a level up? Let's boost Chendong. It doesn't matter if he doesn't like the people there, it's fine. At least this early. It's not going to be a big deal. Alright, so we're just going to tear down a few buildings. We're not going to build anything up yet. Liu Bei's to our north. He has a pretty easy fight. Let's continue. Alright, we can showcase a recruitment. So for these Danyang veterans, we have a cap of 8. There's also Danyang spearmen with the same do or die passive. Not do or die, the against all odds. And then we have access to Danyang archers because we are strategists. So if we look at, say, Zanbat, he only has access to the Danyang veterans and the Danyang spearmen. No Danyang archers for him. Buchu militia, so you can see Buchu are the tier 2 units, and then militia are the tier 1 units. Wandering artisan. This is a gunpowder unit. What? Is this also faction unique to us? They throw bombs? 185 range, that's still pretty high. High armor piercing damage. I really do want to find out. It would make more sense to recruit it on Zanbat for now. But let's take the settlement first with what we have, and then we can recruit afterwards. We can probably add another character for them as well, even though that could get a little bit pricey. But we could see someone else join us on the field. Maybe a sentinel just to see what else you can recruit, even though Mifang is administrator now. Do we have any new? No, can't recruit anyone new. Yeah, I still think we don't need the administrator here for the little bit of discount that we will get. If you're playing the base game, definitely get administrator when you have one, because the steep discount you get makes a lot of sense. Alright, this time we'll have him lead for a little bit of increased income. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, even though they don't have a general. But for TROM, that doesn't really matter. It's more about units. Now, the upkeep on Danyang units going to be cheaper on Tao Qian, but I think he should still get more infantry versus archers.
小心行事，消灭敌军。天下瞩目，正在今日。鼓起勇气。
I don't think they'll charge us, given that they're defending. Okay, 170 is their range. So for the artisan unit, 185, it's actually longer range than the archers for their combined arm. They throw bombs that far, or I don't know what they have. Just feels a little weird. I will send them up, see if we can harass those archers. No range walk chance on these two. They have shields, so we'll have our archer focus on the right flank, and then we'll probably use these to protect them. And they can flank from the other side. And just because generals would be less effective against units without all the builds, it doesn't mean we can, like, we won't use the generals against the unit. We just have to be more creative. Flushing out a range unit here or there. Force them to run a certain way. Oh, they came out fast. Alright, we got one by themselves. And then we can kind of herd them away. Perfect. So we kind of isolated their range unit, and they're kind of taken out of the equation. Just do standard shots for some damage. Pull them a little closer. Yeah, get some free damage there. Oh, we can use this? Okay, they're leading us into... It's okay. I don't know why they had to step up. That's fine. Alright, javelins being thrown, damage being done. Technically, I don't want to fight the axe unit with my sword and shield. Alright, trying to shoot here, it's fine. Alright, they didn't charge that, we'll charge them. Alright, once we break this... Alright, keep them occupied, keep them occupied. Focus here. I'll go pick up one of those. Okay, we'll focus fire here. We'll harass them. Kind of want to flank behind, but I don't think pulling a unit out here would work. I'll see if I can grab them, have them flank over. Alright, go back. Now we can charge in here. Alright, shoot them so they can't come back. I think it's over. Army loss probably going to kick in. We'll just split the experience with all the units. We'll definitely get another general into this army and then figure out what to do with the retinues.
万民之声不可小觑。
So we create no displaced population. So we do not create displaced population no matter what we do. I almost don't care about population here. I don't want to reduce the level though, so I think we'll just occupy. Our next challenge will be to hold 8 settlements, including these. This one's going to be a bit hard. It's a capital, Langyat, and the Obey's probably going to get it. But if we become military allies with him, that's fine too. We can do this later. There's no time limit here. Alright, level up for both. Let's see. We can get additional replenishment for the army, and he can stay commanding officer and eventually get mobility for us. Yes. we can get additional trade routes. Ooh, I'm not sure if I want to trade with... I guess we could right now. This is something down the line. We have to fight Yellow Turbans for a while. He has a daughter. No thanks. So historically, Zheron was a great friend of Tao Qian. They're both from Danyang, and because of that, Tao Qian gave the position to collect the taxes of the 3 southern commandery of the Sui province to Zheron, except for the guy embezzled all that money and then ran down south to promote Buddhism. He's not going to be rich, but I think we can still get a little bit from him. 62? Nope, only 61. That still adds up 610 down the line, plus all the trade income we get. Okay, that works. We can do 1 food. Oh, he's poor. Never mind, you don't get a food. And maybe just cash? I think it feels better than this deal. Yep, it is better. Yeah, he's not rich. It's not his fault. He actually just doesn't have land. We can wait for that. Alright, so recruitment. I think for him, spear unit is the way. We're currently paying 90 upkeep per turn for these. Pay a little bit extra, we get Danyang unit. I'm not sure if I want him on the field or not. He can level up a bit faster. That's a pro. The con is, I don't know if I want him to gain any more levels. Oh, well, let's get another strategist, because I think even though Tao Qian's a strategist, he should recruit more melee infantry. It just makes more sense that way. And we don't have to focus on range for him, and someone else can focus on range. We can do Sun Qian and work for the oil pot. We can do our wife for family boost. She's going to die early as well, right? Might as well use her, or else she's just going to die of old age. She's also working towards oil pot. We can go the bottom route. Oh, I don't like the fact she has superstitious, but committed is really good. We get 3% replenishment, so this is a good choice. Let's see. She has access to these as well. Wandering Artisans. And Danyang Archers, right? Makes sense. So let's go to these two. How much money are we going to spend? That's the other question. Let's start giving out some titles. We'll do General of the Left. Okay, there's a good weapon for him right now, but what we're going to do is increase everyone's instinct as much as we can to get a cheaper recruitment cost, right? Oh, that's no longer the case, so that doesn't really matter. Take the better weapon. The title is still going to help. So I really want to see how these guys work. They're cheap. They're tier 1. I can't get 6 of these. Why am I not getting the 20% discount? There's still 240. Oh, that's not kicking in. That's broken. That should be working, but it's not. Bummer. Well, I hope this works. That'd be a real bummer if we go for this and we don't get the 4%. It's not a big bonus either. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get 2 of these. They're pricey. We'll get 4 of these instead of 6 of them. And then just save up for the rest later. These will probably change into trebuchets down the line. We'll keep them for now since we already have them. There's no point deleting them. Yeah, big army. Alright, we're good to go. We're probably going to have to muster for about 2 turns. Yeah, somewhere, I think 2 turns before we move, and then we move against Pong Chong. Before that, we should be okay. Do we still want the construction bonus afterwards? Could do... Think about canceling it and moving it to here so we can get this done. Because we already got it activated. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to distribute fast enough. But we can max this out first. Oh, we do want to get rid of this. 600. You know what? We can make that money. This is to build your family temple. Literally, Confucius temple. You guys should, you know, put out some cash. Huh? Oh, it was grayed out. But it worked. I don't know why it was grayed out. Anyways, let's continue. Now we can try something cheeky. It is winter, so everyone's food is going to be a little bit more strained. And since we might have an early game event with Cao Cao where he might attack us, we can do a food deal with him just to get some value from him. Gonna weigh both of these options real quick to see if it's worth... Nope. We'll get this. It's good for a few turns. If he tears it up, at least we won't be paying him food anymore. It'll be on him. Alright, we're gonna move him over here. Yeah, we'll stay put for one more turn. I'm tempted to slap 2 more in. But obviously the mustering, they're going to be weaker. We could do it later. We could do it once we get here. We're also going to heal one more turn. Actually, we're going to do it this turn. It's fine. They just won't be full healed by the time we get to that first fight, but it shouldn't make a difference. Alright, let us continue. Yeah, pretty much only these 2 units. Oh, they get 135? Nice. Alright, we're going to move these up to here. Very lightly defended. We should be fine. Oh, we got some choices. Bandit, Sufei, Friends of Gunning, don't really need him. I don't know why he's available. Chengong is the one that we might think about. Now for all of them, we should actually take a look at them here because we need to look at what characteristic they're bringing. These are actually important here with the mod. Some of them will be special units. Now her benefit is the fact that she's modest and cheerful, but I don't think we're grabbing her. A little bit too high level. And really doesn't bring us anything down here. Same problem here. Pretty default Vanguard here. See, Chenggong here, hidden spear assault unit. Okay, that's not a very good unit from what I remember. And they have stock, I think. That aside from that, having a spear unit on Chenggong as a strategist doesn't feel that great. Minus 3% character salary by default, as long as we have him, is pretty good. Minus 5% corruption if he becomes a prime minister with only +2 political. That's unlikely. Analyze weakness is still decent. Sight and restore. Okay, it's not a. He's definitely not a must-have. So I don't know if we will get him. Now he is a bandit character. I think we might actually pass on Chonggong. Like we have so many strategists in our ranks. He's going to be administrator for sure. So any of these are fine. Please just start with all sources and then we'll work on these. First spring season. Our free reform is down here. Resettlement incentive. It makes sense. We're the displaced population faction. It gives us a level 4 livestock farm. I think we actually will go down the trade route. Focus on trade. Not so keen on getting Onyx Dragon as a unit, but I still think getting the trades, getting the building unlocks is probably the best way to do it. Eventually we do need some green buildings, like even the fishing route's really good for us. And there's new bonuses on these. We're not really running a lot of Buchu units. These are still mainly economic bonuses. That's fine. Just want to get the trade. Oh, we get 2, right? We get 2 with the mod. 2 trade might be overkill. Let's go from both sides. We don't need a school for this either. That's a blessing. Okay, so High Empire. Pretty sure we'll eventually betray them, but before that happens, I'm gonna give up this armor that I don't think we're ever gonna wear to get a huge chunk of change. 197, maybe 198 even. So that's going to beg the question, what about 199? Ah, too greedy. We have a pretty strong military right now, which is why they're all so willing to trade. He's just poor though. Okay, we got it just right.
那就如此吧。欢迎朋友。
Take our last food, which might come back to bite us, but I think Pong Chong produces food, so be okay. He's just ultra generous right now. Okay, maybe not so generous, but
算是谈妥了。
we're getting a decent chunk of change from him.
欢迎朋友。
Liu Bei just isn't rich enough. Alright, that's gonna be fine. We'll get Pong Chong, and there should be food waiting for us. I actually don't think we go for anything except for maybe this. 1,700, 3 turn. Yeah, we have it down as low as possible. I mean, we could get Administrator, but that's not going to be worth the cost. Let's continue. Just the Han Empire unit. Wonder whose artwork that is, though. Maybe Wang Yun's actually is my guess. Ah, whom to align yourself with. So appease Cao Cao, follow the story. So this is the romance story where we appease him, but then end up causing problems eventually when his dad dies. Oh, this is nice, but we just queued up. We can get rid of that queue and then save some. Yeah, historically, we didn't support Dong Zhuo, but we didn't go against him. That's how you should see it. This is tempting for a minus 20. I mean, Cao Cao's a faction we kind of want to get rid of. We get the same Peacemaker bonus. We get this nice little discount to go with it. But we might get more event this way, so I'm just going to go with the story and just see how it takes us. It is Wang Yun. Yep. Adopted father of Diao Chan in romance, and the person who set up Dong Zhuo's assassination historically and in romance. If she's faction leader, we get fatigue resistance. What, faction-wide for her? Like, that's kind of vague. This does not give unbreakable. I don't know what I want, actually. I guess we go towards restore. Melee cav speed boost. I don't know if she's going to come out on the field anytime soon. I mean, making her a core character makes sense. I'm gonna go here. I feel like these might be wasted skills down the line. We can go like a little bit farther. She might be a general. All right, let's take Peng Chong and see what it gives us. I'm going to fight this one just because I want to see what these guys can do. I feel like they're holding a crossbow and they just have a bomb ability. That's how I'm reading into it. It doesn't make sense for them to throw this thing at 185 range as their default weapon. That would be insane. It's only 12 meters. I'm going to just think of these as crossbow units. I mean, is it armor piercing? Yeah, it's 33. I think they're just crossbow units with gunpowder ability. I'll be surprised otherwise, but who knows? Must be cold, because she's wearing way too many layers. Okay, a lot of towers to contend with. We should attack from here, probably. We have formations, so it should be okay. Right, they can't target buildings, which makes me think they're just... Turtle is 100%, right? Yes, 150. That's still the same, in case they changed it. We'll have them grab the aggro from the towers. Ooh, they have decent unit in this garrison. In this case, we want to throw the grenades at the buildings. We have to get them close. Why does it visually look like it's throwing a rock instead of arrow? I'm just going to see if we get damaged. Right, it looks like it's exploding. We're not losing any units, so I'm guessing we're fine. The tough part is they have to get close to throw this thing. It looks like 12 meters. That's really short. We're trying to create an opportunity here. Go, 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 go. Alright. It has to get a target, so we can target here. We're hoping something hits this. Throw the grenades, throw the grenade. Oh, how close? There we go. It worked. Throw into the units. I want to see how much damage it does. Very decent damage. Okay, hold on. These guys, use them as crossbows real quick. If they're gonna crowd around here and just charge into our... turtle formation? Ah, we're gonna get shot. It's okay. Cover ourselves. Right here. Right where they all are. Throw it. Crossbow damage. Move
好
up.
准备，快点！
Move back.
弓弩准备就绪，
哈！敌军士兵正在溃逃，
速速前进，注意，快点！
听命，赶快，
时机已至，
准备就绪。
快速前进！
We can debuff them.
做好准备，准备就绪，加快速度，注意，
Start working our flanks.
跑起来，准备好了，鼓起勇气，顽强不屈，挺住，
准备开战，水胜万物。
在，
Break.
不要留情，
Charge.
挺住，赶快就位。
How do they have so much knockback on us?
敌军四散而逃，到底是无胆鼠辈。准备就绪，
Alright.
加
Pull.
速前进，加快脚步，
停住！不要
Charge.
留情，鼓起勇气，
准备好了，动作快点！
剑士准备，准备好了，停住！杀光敌军！
敌军仓皇逃窜，一群懦夫。
Alright, they all broke. Anything inside not breaking?
时机已至，
Generals, go get those.
赞，准备射击！
准备开战，动作快点，
做好准备，加快速度，
加快脚步，
杀！
杀！
上箭，射杀敌军！
Alright, we won. Alright, these are fun. Crossbow damage, or crossbow with a little bit of grenade effect. Gonna tide us through the early part of the siege. Might get a few more of those. I feel like the grenade damage against infantry clusters, especially in these tight areas, is gonna be a lot more than what what the archers could do.
大义将临，莫敢不从。百姓定会箪食湖江。
Alrighty.
加欢迎。
Got this mission done. To get growing might, we need 21 units, which we already have. And we also reached the Marquis rank. Cao Cao's right in front of us. We did sign a deal with him. But maybe it's time to tear up that deal and just go to war with him. We can wipe him out. He only has 2 territories. Oh, 3. How did he get the farm on the other side? Well, did he start with the farm and then have to pick this up? I think so. So he has only 3 territories. If we wipe out his army here next turn, it's going to be pretty devastating for him.
真喜讯也。
Untrustworthy? We'll see. Maybe the story is going to give us that option. We definitely have an army that can stand up to him, so I'm not too worried there. And we'll pick things up from here next time. So hope you guys enjoy this one, and see you all then. Bye!